Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises to manage clients and projects with max efficiency, sharing Wix's SEO tech to help you drive growth.
Fix errors, waste, and issues in a couple of clicks. Get alerted whenever you're off track. Sign up at trueclicks.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the session today. My name is Neha Khanna, and I am a technical product manager at Wayfair. Today's session, I'm going to talk about mastering the art of crafting your prompts for your use case. And why I chose this topic is actually because of the nature of the job that I have. SEO actually found me back in 2021 when I joined the search team of Wayfair. And 1 year later, 2022, when the fascinating tool of ChatGPT and large language models and the big words of AI and everything was out there in the market, my product mindset got into me and be like, oh my God, I want to get hands on it. I want to try that ChatGPT. I want to try Bard. I want to try all other tools following it and be able to produce n number of use cases for myself. And obviously, I tried the first use case, which is content generation. Right? You're able to generate AI content with it and do n number of things, whether it's for a SEO use case or non-SEO use cases, right? So I'm going to walk you through of how I actually began that journey. The importance of this topic is not in the output. Back in then, I was like so much focused on what is the output that I'm getting? What is AI is going to give me, right? But the importance lies in the input or in the prompts as how you talk to that model. So what to expect? We are going to go over what is prompt designing, what is prompt engineering, and hey, they are two different things, yes. We are going to do some fundamentals of what is machine learning, what is artificial intelligence, large language models. You would have heard natural language processing, but without getting too technical, I'm going to go over what those concepts really mean. And then we're not going to just stop at the theory. We're actually going to take our learning to next level by taking a use case, a practical use case of actually designing a prompt and coming up with an output that could be a fit for your use case. And of course, I'm happy to talk about other use cases outside of this after the talk. And then evaluation and metrics. How do you know if that output is actually great? After all, it is AI generated, right? It's not human written. So how do you evaluate that output is also a key. And then question answers after the talk, but let's dive straight in. While this was a GIF, but given that it's not working, I'm still going to talk that prompt engineering and prompt design are both a thing now, right? Traditionally, the focus on AI was how significant the models are going to look like, the sophisticated algorithms that go behind it. But recent advancements have told us that it's also in the input that lies the key, because how effectively you're able to talk to your model is actually very, very important for the output that you want to get to. So what is prompt designing? It's precisely just creating a very contextually relevant set of queries or instructions that talk to your model, that guides your model to create that task for you. And prompt designing, on the other hand, takes you a little above. It is all about the composition of the prompts and the structure of the prompts, like in a format, on a template, that is actually better for a model performance and the quality of the output. But both elements are actually very crucial for you to fully harness the potential of AI. But if you're wondering that today's learning is just about asking, am I just going to design? Well, it's not just about asking. It's actually about asking effectively and precisely, because all in all, the magic lies in the prompt. Tell me by looking at this and show of hands, how many of you have actually explored generative AI content for your use case? You sat down with your teams, you would have used ChatGPT. Amazing. So we're kind of in the same boat where we have analyzed the output, we have played with different prompts, right? But this talk is going to take over those step-by-step instructions that you might have gone through already, or probably a new learning that you're going to get away from it. And Go home, try that prompt out, and experiment again and get a new output altogether. So I want to leave you guys with a workshop from this workshop to be able to design your own prompt, customize it, because at the end of the day, it's the personalized content that you want to create for your SEO. Set a use case for yourself today. What is that case that you want to use when you are thinking about AI content? Is it to improve your rankings? Is it to improve your search relevance on the page? Is it to improve customer experience, right? You want to write a description good enough, compelling enough, such that it's actually giving a best user experience. And of course, everybody knows the benefits of it. It is efficient, right? You are saving loads of time on it. Your content writers, your marketers could actually be working on something higher priority, right? Versus your AI content could be actually automated all in all and generated for you. Yes, you can get precise and very relevant and contextually relevant content that you want to create. And of course, there's a piece of personalization and customization that comes with it. Let's get to the fundamentals now. What is artificial intelligence? I really like to explain artificial intelligence as you're teaching computers on how to think and learn like humans do. So imagine you're teaching a robot on how to play a game. Rather than giving the robot step-by-step instructions for every situation, you're actually just giving the basic rules and let it figure out on its own what are the next steps by practicing and learning from its mistakes. That's how AI is working. It's programming all the computers to learn and understand, problem solve, make decisions on its own like humans do. And AI is everywhere, right? Recognizing speech, understanding images, making predictions. Everywhere is AI. Even driving cars is AI. And there are two concepts that stand out here as we are talking about text data, because this is content generation, and we're talking about content as text. Natural language processing stands out. It's a theme where you are helping the machines and the programmers and the computers to understand human language. Just how you understand words and phrases and sequences and sentences as you read and listen, NLP helps these computers understand and interpret text or speech. And NLP again is everywhere. Your chatbot is NLP. Your voice assistant is NLP. Siri and Alexa are NLP. Language translation apps are NLP. Large language models, which is again a buzzword back in few years that you saw with ChatGPT coming up. It's actually, they are the rock stars of language learners. It's not just memorizing vocab list for you. It's actually jamming code, it's jamming novel, everything. So think of it as you're putting together Shakespeare and Albert Einstein to collaborate for your next blog. And that's like the large-scale AI model, large language model that does for you. And it can generate n number of things. There are tons of applications that it does, right? Generating and classifying text, answering questions. But how do they work? So, large language models are actually trained on massive amount of text data from the internet that it consumes. What kind of text data? There are websites, there are published articles, posts, reviews, everything that they could find online as text on the internet is what large language models are trained on. And once they are trained on, once they are trained and during the training process, they actually understand the diverse range of patterns and styles and topics that they read from. And once they are trained, they are likely to predict the next word or the next sequence of words based on the input that is given to them. This is actually probabilistic technique that they are using. How cool is that actually? And once you get that output of the next generated output based on the input from the large language models, you could do a ton number of things again, right? So you're just not limiting to content generation. There are n number of things. And as a product manager on my day-to-day, I use these tools on n number of things. But today, let's dive into writing basic prompts and experimenting with different prompts and how they work and how they create new output and analyze that. So very basic. Again, a GIF, but I love Dwight from The Office, and in his own words, let's do this. So imagine you are a content writer, right? And you have a SKU that you want to sell on the website, which is a gray couch. And you want to be able to write a generative AI content that describes this product accurately, right? The very first basic step would be, write me a description for this gray couch that has about 4 to 5 features. The features are listed here. It's high foam density, polyester. Yes, it has a storage seating, right? Does everybody agree? A very basic prompt that we're going to start with? Well, that's exactly what I did. Write a compelling description for a gray sectional couch, following features, so and so. And look at ChatGPT's response. Do you think it's good? Yes. As many of you, we can point out a number of problems with it. The first thing that stands out is the length. Of course, none of your users are going to be reading such huge length of descriptions for a SKU. If you see here effortless organization, well, I did not even let the LLM decide what new features to add. And here it is making up stuff. So this is called hallucination, when it makes up stuff. The problem lies here because the model does not have context. The accuracy of human-generated content is different from this because you did not give context. You did not give enough information to the prompt or inside the prompt to the model to be able to generate that content for you. So next step, it's important to specify the context and the role, right? So act as a content writer. You want the model and to learn that you are a content writer. You are a marketer, you are a Python developer, you are a product manager. Make sure that you act as in a prompt. Your task is to write a product description. Very clear instructions that you need to give. Very, very specific. You know, I have a running joke with my husband that says that sometimes when I have to remind him of something or he has to find something, I have to be very, very specific, right? This is how you're writing prompts. And I tell him all the time, it's like writing prompts for you. It's in the second shelf, on the white cabinet, on the right-hand side, and you'll find deep on the corner left. That's how specific you have to get with the prompts if you want the output for yourself. And of course, include only these features. You have to be very specific again. If you have 5 key features that you want in the output, make sure that you include only. But once you do that, you're going to see that hidden filter, or sorry, not the hidden storage, and all of those things go away quickly. Next up, you want to fix the output length. It's simple, right? You can say, write it within 75 to 100 words. And this is what it does. If you go to a word counter, this is more than 100 words. And that's a problem again. You know why? Because LLMs are based on the concept of tokens. Now, tokens are the basic unit of input and output of a natural language model like GPT. And tokens could be words, subwords, sequence of characters. It could be anything. It is based on how you define the tokenizer when training the model. So, as a tip, try to use sentence guidance. Write a prompt by saying that you want it within 2 to 3 sentences or 4 sentences. And this is where it's going to publish 3 sentences. And last, overall, as we are getting close to our output, probably not perfect, but at least close, is where you want to avoid conflicting terms. Now, what that means is you want to not introduce any confusion. If you say you have 20 features to give, but you only want a description of 2 sentences, well, the model is going to get confused on how am I supposed to include all the 20 features within 2 sentences. So it's going to still be selective. It's going to randomly pick some features and quickly put those in those 2 sentences. So make sure that you're specific, or you're specifying that what are those key features, color, material, storage, important. Warranty, assembly, maybe not important, right? So you could be as specific as that. Overall, this is how we're creating prompts, and this is the basic structure that you can take away. Context is important. Your instructions are again important. The input comes in whether you want to give it a file, set of features, set of words that you wanted to include, right? If it's a sale and you want to definitely promote that sale word, you can include that in the input. Output, not only the length. What kind of tone do you want the description to be like, right? Is it optimistic? Is it friendly? Are you writing an education article? Make sure that you also describe that here. You can give out a rule that maybe the first sentence is also about introduction. The second sentence is all about features. The third sentence is about concluding. That's it. And now you must be asking, okay, Neha, when to stop? Enough. Well, you're going to be in a point where you're in a good place, right? As we were right now. It's probably not perfect, but now is the time to evaluate how good of an output did you actually get from that AI content. So once you've generated the output, there's definitely a human loop that goes in here where you continuously reiterate or tweak your prompts until you get better. You evaluate about tens or hundreds of that output list that you got, and then you're ready to publish. But before you're ready to publish and before you're ready to scale to about 100,000 pages or 200,000 pages or even 50,000 pages descriptions that you want to do, you want to check for some of these metrics. And I'm sure the metrics goes beyond this list, but these are some of the important ones that could be helpful, especially when you're talking of text data. Now, grammar, there's definitely a ton of tools there. There's Grammarly, right? But there's